Okay, so today, let's talk about this week. This past week, we've been talking about adding integers with like terms and adding integers with unlike terms, and then later this week or this past few days, we've been working on subtracting integers. So I've told you all week to kind of pay attention to what kind of patterns you're seeing. And some of you have seen the patterns, and some of you are not sure what I mean when I say patterns, and that's okay because sometimes we don't all see the same things the same way. But today you're going to need a piece of paper. It can either be a notebook or a piece of paper with holes on the side so you can keep it in your binder. So hopefully if we all get to come back to school one day, we'll still have our notebook entries and we can look at them when we're studying for tests. Now let's talk about Wednesday. Next Wednesday you will have a test. So your test next Wednesday will be on integers, absolute value, additive inverse, and adding and subtracting integers. You will have some number line work. You will have some modeling work, like with the counters. And you will have some where you don't use counters or number lines. So you need to be prepared to do any of that, okay? All right, so today we're going to be talking about integer rules. So you need to put at the top of your paper, integer rules. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't turned my screen on. Y'all are probably wondering what I can see it on my screen, but it's not on your screen. So you're going to put integer rules across the top, and you're going to put a number 2 because this is your second notebook entry. There you go. I'm recording. Will you close my door because I'm recording? Okay, thank you. I recorded this for my home people yesterday, but I'm recording again in my first block class, and if it's a better recording, I'm going to replace it. So you may hear students in this recording. So if you do, that's good for you because you can hear questions that they ask that maybe you didn't think about asking. So we have integer rules. And so let's talk about, the first thing we talked about was adding integers with like signs. And I'm going to put like in big letters because that's very important. And you weren't in my classroom this morning, but I played that song, I Saw the Sign, because you're probably going to hear me singing it a lot. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. And last year, I would say, I saw the sign. And then my kids in class would say, and it opened up my eyes, because it's very important that you're looking for the signs. So let's talk about things we did earlier this week. Let's say we had positive 2 plus positive 4. And I made sure all week that we thought about what is it actually saying. It's saying positive 2 and then you're adding positive 4. So when we modeled that, we would have done something like this. Positive 2 plus positive 4. And we checked our model. We had positive 2 and positive 4. And then we asked, were they all the same color? And we said, yes. So once they were the same color, we knew we could combine them and put them over here across the equal sign. So we knew that our answer would be positive 6. Now, I want you to notice something extra here, though. And I'm going to give y'all a little time to get that written down. I'm going to use orange. to show you. Do you see any pattern here between the problem and the answer? Do you see a pattern? Anybody? Make sure you speak up because I know it's hard with your mask and this air conditioner. I can't hear you. What do you, and it's okay if you're wrong. That's fine. Mistakes are fine. I make mistakes too. What kind of pattern do you see, Haley?
They're all positive numbers.
Haley says they're all positive. Amanda, what were you going to say? That is a pattern that they're all by twos. That's not the pattern I'm looking for, but you are right. It is a pattern that I see, and I'm glad you saw that pattern. Haley saying they're all positive is what I was looking for. Did you notice that this says positive 2, and this is positive 4, and our answer is positive? So you have the same signs. This is a positive. Now, this is not a sign, is it? This is an operation. That is plus or adding to. So we're only looking at the signs or the first names as I call them. Remember, numbers have first names too. It's either positive or negative. Positive 2, so its first name is positive. Positive 4, its first name is positive. And then our answer is positive 6. So let's remember that for a minute, and let's look at one that is they have negative numbers. Let's see what that would look like. So if I have, and I'm gonna use different numbers, okay? If I have negative 3 plus negative 4 equals, let's see what that looks like. So we would have used negative 3. So what color counters would I have used?
Red.
Red, thank you. 1, 2, 3. And then I have negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we modeled this, we would have first checked our model. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, they're red, that's negative. Negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're red, that's negative 4. Is my model correct? Sure, my model's correct. What's the second question we ask ourselves? Are the colors the same? Thank you, Amanda. Are the colors the same? Sure. So what does that mean we can do, Jason? He says that means we can add them together, and that's exactly what that means. So we're going to push them across to the equal sign, and we are left with 2, 4, 6, 7, and that is a negative 7. Now, who sees the pattern here? Maddie. She says they're all negative. We have a negative 3. Very good, Maddie. We have a negative 3. We have a negative 4. And we have our answer is negative 7. Who thinks they could figure out what the rule would be for this? Do y'all want to discuss it among yourselves? Discuss it with your friends, because there's only 4 of us in here. Let's just discuss it. What do you think the pattern could be? Turn to the person next to you and say what you think the pattern could be. Y'all got to talk to each other. What do you think the pattern could be? I know y'all like to talk because y'all talk to me all the time. Okay? What do you think it is?
If you add a negative with a negative, you get a negative number.
I'm glad you said that key word. You should just add, right? Just add and keep the sign. Okay? So let's make a note of that. Let's make a note of that in purple. Now, there's an easy way for me. I came up with this saying to kind of help you remember. And it is same sign, equal sum. Did you notice that I didn't spell sum S-O-M-E? I spelled it S-U-M. Why did I spell it S-U-M? I'm adding. And what is sum when you're adding, Maddie? What does sum mean? What is it? I couldn't hear you, Jason. Sum is the answer to an addition question. So, if you see you have the same signs, I don't even want you worrying about what your operation sign is. Don't even worry about it. Just look at your numbers. Same sign. I saw the sign. Your part is, and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. I saw the sign. I saw the sign. They were both positive, so I just added and I got positive. Another thing is you need to keep the sign. When the signs are the same, you're keeping the same sign. But when it gets to when the signs are different, you always keep the sign of the larger absolute value. Why would I say the larger absolute value? Let's talk about this one. Which one has the larger absolute value? -3 or -4? Okay, on the number line, 3 is the bigger number, right? But what is absolute value? Oh, I like Haley's going back in her notes to see. What is absolute value? The distance a number is from 0 on the number line. So which one of these numbers has a larger absolute value? Amanda? 4. The 4 has a larger absolute value. So you keep the sign of the largest absolute value. Because we know that -4 is not bigger than -3, right? But its absolute value is more because it's further away from 0. Okay, so let's make a note of that. Keep the sign of the largest absolute value. Okay, I'll give y'all a second to get caught up. And then we're going to talk about adding integers with unlike signs. Adding integers with unlike signs. So let's say we have -5 plus +6. I'm going to move my screen up so we can see better. So how would we have modeled this? Amanda? 5 reds. 5 reds and 6 yellows. Because it says add 6 yellows. Okay, what's the first thing we do? Let me move a piece of white paper under here so it's easier to see on the screen. There. check your model. 2, 4, 5, they're red, that's -5. 2, 4, 6, they're yellow, that's +6, and I am adding, so I should model both numbers. Okay? So my model's correct. What's the second thing I check? Are my colors the same? No, they're not. So I have to do something special here. What do I need to do? Haley?
You make the 0 pairs with the numbers that you have on.
Thank you. She said make 0 pairs with the numbers we have on here. So I have -1, +1. See you later. -1, +1. Bye-bye. -1, +1. See ya. -1, +1. Get lost. -1, +1. See ya. What am I left with? +1. I want you to look and discuss. What was the pattern here? What do you think the rule could be here? We looked at our signs. This one was negative. This one was positive. So my signs are different. What do you think you could do to find the answer without the counters or without a number line? Oh, I think Haley's got an idea. What do you think you could do to find the answer? What do you think?
5 + 6.
Okay, so y'all decided that you think you could subtract? Okay, so here's my way. You're right. You're very right. You could subtract. And how do you know which sign to keep?
Because +1 is in front of 0.
Yes.
And you don't have any negatives.
Well, we did have a negative, -5 and +6. How do we know which sign to keep here? If we don't have counters and we're just doing it with numbers. Here's my way to remember that. I saw the sign. I saw the sign. Okay, so these are different signs. Don't worry about your operation sign. Just look at the signs of the numbers. Negative and a positive. So they're different. Different signs mean difference. What does difference mean?
Students that have turned in a consent form for the flu vaccination, please go to the library.
Did anybody turn in a flu form? Okay. Difference. What is difference? When it comes to subtraction, what does difference mean? It's the answer. The answer is the difference. So we're going to put in purple different signs equal difference. So we're going to subtract. I'm just going to put subtract under here in case we forget. Equals subtract. And you're going to keep the sign of the number with the largest absolute value. Keep the sign of the number with the largest absolute value. Which one here has the largest absolute value? -5 or -6? +6. I'm sorry. The largest absolute value would be the 6. It's positive, so my answer is also positive. What about if it's subtraction? How would that change things? Let's see. Let me find the blue. Let's do subtracting integers. Let's do -5 minus -6 equals -5 minus -6. So what would that look like with counters?
5 reds.
5 reds. Okay, first of all, with subtracting, how many, what do you model? Just the first number. Why? Why are we only modeling the first number?
But you don't have anything to combine with.
Very good. Haley says we can't combine them because we have something and we're taking away. So we can't combine. We have -5. Then it says minus -6. Do we have -6 to take away? We don't. So we've got to add something to our model so we can take away -6. We already have -5. So what do we need to add to be able to take away -6?
We need to add 6 0 pairs.
6 0 pairs, or we need 1 0 pair. Why?
Oh, because I already saw.
Because we've already got 5. We need 6 to take away. So if I'm taking away -6, remember when we added this, I'm going to put it like this so we don't get confused. When we added this 0 pair, we didn't really change anything because +1 and -1 equals 0, right? So it still says -5 here. But we need to take away -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can take away -6 now. And we're left with +1. How did that happen? How do you think that why does that happen? Maddie?
Because we had 5 negative numbers, and then you put a pair of positive and negative and took 6 away, so you got like
Because we had to add that 0 pair and it was a positive and a negative. Okay. Anybody else got an idea?
oh,
Okay. The way I like to think about these negatives, who has ever been around Mean Girls? When are Mean Girls the happiest? Well, you're right. They're really not happy. That's why they're Mean Girls. But when do they seem to be the happiest? When they're together. When they're together being mean to other people, right? They seem happy within themselves to be mean. So I like to think of these subtraction and negative sign as 2 negatives together because they're taking away, and then this is a negative sign. So 2 negatives are together. They become positive. So when you have a negative and a negative, it really is, they get happy together, right? So I like to think, and I'm going to use purple. I'm going to write it down here. When you have -5 minus -6, these two together Let me find a different color. They're really happy together. They become positive. Taking away a negative is really like, okay, let's think about temperature. If you're making soup and you take away, let's say you're putting ice cubes in your soup and you take some of those ice cubes out because those ice cubes are negative. You put them in your soup so it lowers the temperature, right? Makes it less. Well, when you take that ice cube out, what does it do to the temperature?
Lower.
Makes it higher because when you remove that ice cube, it doesn't continue getting lower. The temperature rises. So it's really, when you take away a negative, it's really like a positive. Okay? That's the best way I can figure out to explain it. But just know, if you have a negative and a negative right next to each other, they get really happy and become positive. Okay? So the way I remember that is Mean Girls, and then I'm going to put 2 negatives, are happiest together. So that means 2 negatives become positive. Negative and a negative become positive. So if you hear me refer to Mean Girls, I'm talking about those double negatives, 2 negatives right beside each other. Now, if this was negative and this was positive, or I'm sorry, plus, if this was negative and this was a plus sign, you wouldn't have 2 negatives right next to each other. It has to be a negative and a negative like this to become positive. Let's try this out. So let's say I have 3 minus negative 8. What do I have here? Yes, this is positive 3. Take away negative 8. And I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. So I'm looking for this positive. But remember, this changes things. I have a negative and a negative, and I like to think of those as Mean Girls. They're with each other and they are so happy to be torturing other people that they become positive. So we change it to positive, positive, and I like to give them a little smiley face because they are so positive now. So now what do my signs say? Positive and positive. Positive and positive. So my signs are the same. Same means sum. So what am I going to do? Going to add. 3 plus 8 is what? 11. How do I know what sign I need?
All of the numbers have positive signs.
They're all the same, so I'm going to keep that positive sign. Okay, let's look at this same number, except this time we're going to do the same numbers, but I'm going to change the signs, okay? So let's say I have negative 3 minus negative 8. Why would this answer be different? Let's look. First of all, I see Mean Girls. Mean Girls are the happiest when they are together, so they become positive. So let's make them positive and give them a smiley face. And that's just my quirkiness. That's not anything math related. I just do it that way. Okay, now let's compare our signs. I have a negative and I have a positive. My signs are different. Different means, what's different mean? Subtract. So 8 minus 3 is what? 5. How do I know what sign that the answer is going to need?
Because you're keeping the sign of the largest absolute value.
Keeping the sign of the largest absolute value. Which one would that be? The 3 or the 8? The 8. So my sign's going to be positive. Let's try another one. So if I have positive 5 plus positive 8, what would I get? First of all, do I need to change anything? Thank you, Amanda, for picking up my lid. Do I need to change anything? I don't see any Mean Girls. I don't see any double negatives, so I'm not changing anything. So now I saw the sign, and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. I'm going to circle those signs. Positive 5 and positive 8. My signs are the same. Same means sum. So I'm going to add. 8 plus 5 is what? 13. And what sign would that be? Positive. How do you know? All the signs are positive. Let's try another one. Negative 6 plus negative 10. Okay. What do you think we need to do? Do I need to change anything? I don't need to change anything. I don't see any Mean Girls. Mean Girls are double negatives again. I don't see that. But I do see, I saw the sign. I see a negative and a negative. That means my signs are the same. Same means sum. Same means sum. No matter what the sign is, if they're the same, you're going to add. 10 plus 6 is what? 16. And what is my sign here? Negative. How do you know it's negative? All the signs are negative? If they weren't the same, how would you know? The sign of the largest absolute value. If you do the sign of the largest absolute value every time, your answer will be right. No matter if you're adding or subtracting. Let's try one more before I show you how to do your little activity that I made for you today. And then I will let you have it. Okay, so let's say negative 12 plus positive 9 equals. Do we need to change anything? No, I see no double negatives. What do we need to do? You need to hear me singing in your mind. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Circle those signs. I have a negative and I have a positive. My signs are different. Different means difference, which means to subtract, right? So 12 minus 9 is what? 3? Is it going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
How do you know?
Because the absolute value.
Largest absolute value would be 12, and it's negative, so my answer is negative. Y'all are doing a great job. I'm very proud of you. Let's look at your activity today. Okay, let me minimize my, y'all can't see my computer screen, but I'm going to minimize my screen. And let me see if it'll show you my camera. Let me X out of this. Come on, screen, change to PC. Let me see if I can duplicate. I may need to do this. Since I was using my Elmo as a document camera. Duplicate for my people in my class. Why is it not duplicating? Come on, computer, why are you not working? I need my people in my class to see my screen. I have everything plugged in. I do. I don't know why it's not duplicating. It always does. It's connected. Let me pull this out and connect it again. Maybe that'll help. Okay, I don't know why I can't get it to duplicate. I always push this PC button and it's not helping. So I think what I'll do is I will let y'all go to the video I've got posted now and fast forward it until you get to the part where it shows you how to play or how to do your activity. And then I'm going to keep recording here. So because this lesson was better than the one I recorded yesterday. And I'll give them this lesson, okay? Is that a good deal? Okay, so because it'll show you how to do it. Okay. So for the people at home, this is how you'll play Chef G's Amazing Integer Soup. So Chef G is making her amazing integer soup. When she adds a pepper, it makes the soup taste spicy hot. And when she adds milk, it makes the soup taste cooler. Can you help her figure out how spicy her soup really is? So you're going to go to the next screen, and it says the beginning spiciness was -6. So you're going to write your own equation. -6 was the beginning. Then she took out. So if she took out, that means she was subtracting 11 peppers. And I see, that peppers are positive. So that would be a positive 11 equals. So my equation would say negative 6 minus positive 11. So I'm going to use my highlighting tool. So if you see the signs, I saw the sign, and I'm going to highlight that in this pretty blue color. And then here's another one that I'm going to highlight in this pretty blue color. So now my signs are different. Different means I'm going to subtract. So 11 minus 6 would be 5. And my sign would be positive because 11 has the greater absolute value. So my answer here would be positive 5. So let's go to the next slide. This one says the beginning spiciness was 10. So I know that that is a positive 10. Let me take the highlighter off. Positive 10. It says then she added. So that tells me I'm going to add 5 peppers. And peppers are positive. So plus positive 5 equals. So now I'm going to take that highlighter. I saw the sign. And I'm going to highlight each sign. And I see that my signs are the same. So that means I'm going to add. So 10 plus 5 is 15. And I know that my sign here is going to be positive because 10 has the greatest absolute value. So my answer there is positive 15. Let's go to the next one. The beginning spiciness was negative 6. So I'm going to put negative 6. Then took out, that means subtract, 8 milks. Milk is negative, so negative 8. Okay, I see here that I have 2 negatives together. So that means they are going to change to positive. So I'm going to notate that like this. I'm going to go back down and do negative 6 plus positive 8 equals. So now I have my signs are different because I had to change them because I had those mean girls. Change the signs. So my signs are different, which means I'm going to subtract. And 8 minus 6 is 2. And I'm going to keep the sign of the number with the largest absolute value, which is positive. So positive 2 is my answer. And let's do this last one here. Oh, I've got 2 more. Hold on. Okay, so the beginning spiciness was negative 4. So I'm going to put negative 4. Then I add 10 peppers. Peppers are positive. Positive 10, not equals, positive. Got to push that shift key to make it positive. Equals. I see that my signs are different. And different signs means I'm going to subtract. 10 minus 4 is 6. And the number with the largest absolute value is 10, so that means my answer is positive. And the last one here, before I let you have it, the beginning spiciness was 12, so that I know that that's a positive 12. Then I took out, so that means I'm going to subtract 5 milks. Milks are negative, so that would be -5, and then equals. Again, I see I have two negatives together, so I'm going to notate that by changing those signs. I would have positive 12 plus positive 5. I changed it because these two negatives make a positive. So now I'm going to notice my signs. I have a positive and a positive. My signs are the same, which means I'm going to add, and I'm going to get 17. And my answer will be positive because 12 has the largest absolute value. Okay, I hope you do really well with this. You have one that I think has 10 slides on it for you to complete by yourself. Good luck, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.